Hello, everyone.
Hello, welcome to another expert session with us, Hex Devs. And today we have a very special guest to talk all about Ruby developer career path. How do you keep climbing up in the engineering ladder? So, welcome.
Yeah, we have some people in the chat. Hello, Carl
Yeah.
and Su Myung Pires. welcome.
Welcome, everyone. Let us know in the chat where are you talking from, what you expect to get from this session, and quick technical check. Let us know if the audio and video is all good. And let's get started. Hi, Sebas. So let's share our slides. I have a few people. Thank you so much for joining us. So this session is going to be all about climbing up the Ruby engineering path. We are your hosts.
I'm Thiago.
And I'm Stephanie. And we are both the Hex Devs team.
It's nice to be back, right?
Yeah,
It's
been a while.
It's been a while since we did a live stream. So it's nice to be back. And yeah, lots of people in the chat. So welcome.
Yay! Greetings from Peru. Nice.
Yeah.
Sebas.
Thanks.
Video and audio is good. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a great poster, huh? Harrison Ford, Blade Runner.
Oh, for Ireland. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And so just a quick housekeeping notes. This session was designed to have a full 15 minutes of Q&A with Fabiano. He will be here with us in just a second. And we, like we mentioned already, we are the Hex Devs team, and our goal is to help you take your Ruby developer career to the next level. And this session was actually inspired by some of the questions from our students from Get You Senior, and we wanted to bring someone that have lots of experience with navigating the career paths.
Yeah, they always ask us about how can I get promoted, how can I get to senior, what is needed, and things like that. So we thought, oh, maybe let's just invite a manager, CTO, staff engineer to talk about those things, because we know those things from the perspective of the developer, but sometimes you want to know, okay, so what about the manager side of things, right? What does he think or she thinks about career paths and things like that? And usually what you think you need to be promoted is different from what your manager thinks. So it's always nice to have that connection.
Yeah. So hello, Danielle. Thanks for tuning in. So let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so about our guest, the reason why we thought Fabiano is a great guest for this session is because he himself has navigating both sides of the engineering tracks. When I met him, he was the CTO of a startup that I worked in Brazil. Then he moved to Germany. He was working as a senior developer. Then he became a CTO again, and now he's a staff engineer. And he also shared with us that he's currently developing the engineering career promotion where he works at. Yeah, so it's a perfect match for today. And
also a cool thing about Fabiano is that he loves the technical track, so he loves to support people that want to get promoted doing technical work
Yeah.
instead of manager work, and so he's the best person to talk about those things.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in following the technical career track, you're gonna love this conversation.
Yeah. But also, if you are interested about the management side as well, Fabiano also has experience with that. And like we have here, he has several years of experience in making a business successful through leadership and technology. And just a reminder, we have already some questions to ask, but if you have any questions that you want to ask Fabiano, feel free to drop them in the chat. We will be monitoring them here. So, Fabiano, I hope you are ready. We will get you here in the room.
Let's invite him. Hello,
Hello,
Fabiano. Welcome.
hello,
Welcome, welcome.
hello, hello.
How are you
How?
doing?
Oh, good, good. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, it's always nice
Yeah,
to talk to you.
yeah. We already interviewed Fabiano before at the Hex Devs podcast. It's one of our most popular episodes. Yeah. So, Fabiano, to get started, we were mentioning in your introduction that you have navigating both sides of the engineering tracks. You were a CTO, then a senior developer, then a staff engineer right now. And let's get started by explaining, clarifying what is the difference between going in the individual contributor side and the engineering side.
Yeah, the management side.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the management side.
Yes, sure. So yes, hello everyone in the chat. I see Daniel from Brazil. Nice. Cool. So the difference between being individual contributor and a manager. Yes, I think uh, both are. I see both side by side. I don't know. Some people might see like I don't know, a manager is better or much more valuable than an individual contributor. But in my humble opinion, both have the same value for the company because they're providing organizational value and outcome. And yeah, as individual contributor, you have your scope of things to do and how to make impact in the company. And as a manager, it changes because then you are responsible to make your team the best as possible. So you need to think a lot about people
Mhm,
and how to make them highly motivated to make the best and also how to develop them. So
mhm,
it's a completely different mindset, I would say. But even as an individual contributor, uh, you can also benefit from some management mindset to in communication, in talking to other people in a way to improve the company. So I think, yeah, I can go on and on, but I think that's it for now.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that you mentioned. So being a senior engineer or following the technical career track doesn't mean you don't need communication skills and kind of the management skills that you would because you
mhm,
think, oh, I don't want to be a manager, so I don't need to know about leadership or communication, but that's not true, right? Those skills are useful even if you're following the technical track, right?
mhm,
Yes, for sure. I mean, in the company I'm working right now, I'm a staff engineer, and some of the, how can I say, responsibilities are very much related to leadership and communication and aligning besides the technical side. So, yes, even if you decide to go on the technical track, for
mhm,
sure, leadership related topics will help.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. That's what. what I was going to ask, because when we were talking in private, and we got lots of great insights from you in private, and that's why we wanted to have a live to share that with the public, is you mentioned, like, even if you go in the individual contributors, as you go up and up, you still have to communicate the impact of your work, of your team, with people that are not in the technical side of the company. So that's a good thing to keep in mind, because I think lots of people go in the individual contributors side, the track, just because they don't want to have any leadership or communication skills, but that also can become a block for you. So
Yes, exactly. I mean, when I was building the team at the startup Magnetis back in Brazil, I highly valued communication on top of technical expertise. I mean, that's a matter of I don't know, opinion. So I'll share my. If you have a very I don't know, very talented, brilliant person in the team that cannot communicate and cannot mentor other people in the team, uh, I think would not be a fit. Would not be. I think no, would not be a fit in the team I was creating there. I would rather prefer someone that is more humble and, of course, has also the technical expertise, but it's open to learn fast. And but yeah, communication is key for 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 this for developers in this, because it's in the end it's communication that can stop things or make them move very fast.
Yeah, that's very
yeah,
true.
yeah,
Yeah, one of the things that I was thinking about is that, like, besides communication, you mentioned mentoring, and usually people think, oh, if I want to get promoted or if I want to move up the engineering ladder, maybe I should get a mentor, maybe I should get a coach or something like that just to help me. But one of the things that we talked about with other people is that sometimes you want to mentor people so you can get the skills, especially communication. So if you start mentoring people, you start helping them, it kind of helps you improve your communication skills. And also, you're going to have people at your team that are getting mentored by you, and they will respect you, they want to work with you, and that's also a sign of someone that is getting more senior, right? So the person that kind of leads others, that helps them, that mentors them, is kind of like a mindset switch a little bit, where instead of looking for a mentor to yourself, you start mentoring other people just to help you move up the engineering ladder, which is something that people don't talk about as much, right? And seeing you mentioning that, oh, I want people that can mentor others, it's kind of related to that, right? So
yeah. And it was actually one of the things that I really liked when we we asked you, oh, but what is the difference between, let's say, someone that has, I think you even said this, like, let's pick up two people that have, two developers that have 5 years of experience, and if you were to promote them to senior, which one would it be and why? And then one of the examples that you gave was, oh, who is someone that everyone in the team are saying, this person helped me, this
so
person
it's
helped the
respected,
team,
yeah.
unblock. And so this person name is always showing up in the team's conversations. Um, and then that is a perfect segue for the next talk, because the next question, let's say that you are this person who's mentoring, who's doing this next level of improving your communication and your leadership skills. how do you go from there to being recognized for it? Because one of the things that we see a lot, it also happened with us. I think it's more common than we imagine, is how hard it is to talk about your good work with your manager
And your team as
and
well.
your team as well. So what do you think are some examples of someone that is doing a great job, is doing all of this that we are talking, or wants to do all of these things? How do they communicate that with their managers and with their teams in a healthy way?
Yeah, it's a hard question. I mean, ideally, so that's the thing. Thinking now about managers, bringing managers in the context. So let's say there is an individual contributor and needs to deliver, I don't know, some projects, some tasks, and the person's focused on delivering this, and someone from the team says, I'm blocked. And this individual contributor knows exactly how to unblock. So here's the decision point. Is it better to unblock someone, or it's better to keep going on your task?
Mm-hmm.
Question.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, depends. Yeah. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's better to unblock other people,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't do that all the time, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
or else you're not gonna finish anything.
Yeah.
But I'd say it's better to, if you know the answer, you can
Mm-hmm.
just unblock them, help them, and then get back to your task. But that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. I agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, for sure. I think in a nutshell, it's better, but of course it depends
Mm-hmm.
to unblock people. But you need to watch out to not become like the unblocker of everything, and then everybody's just asking you to be unblocked and not really like trying, not even
Yeah.
trying to do things.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So yeah, there is this tiny thing, but uh, so as a manager, let's say you are this person that's unblocking everyone, and then your manager is asking you when is the project getting done. So you're unblocking everyone, but you're not getting your things done.
Mm-hmm.
So could be a manager like this that says you're not performing well and you're very bad actually, but
Yeah.
it's not true because you're unblocking everyone and making all the company go forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the manager plays a big role here because needs to understand and also guide the responsibilities of someone.
Mm-hmm.
So, but coming back to your original question, how to expose your work, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
ideally, you don't need to. What can I say?
Yeah. So Adrian
Ex-
is saying that it depends on criticality.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if it's a very critical thing to deliver, maybe you
Mm-hmm.
have to, focus on your task and not help to
Mm-hmm.
unblock other people. It's an
Yeah,
interesting
that's a good
point.
point.
yes, makes sense. But yes, ideally, you wouldn't need to. How can I say? Show off your work. But I think most of the companies are not in this state of art of proactively looking what people are doing and
Mm-hmm.
going like proactively giving promotions and
Mm-hmm.
seeing everything. So yeah, I think you need to expose clearly your goals, your achievements, and in order to do that, there are, I don't know, several ways. One that I'm liking a lot recently, uh, it's based on OKRs, but can be
Mm-hmm.
something else as well. So beginning of the quarter or the month or the year, you define your goals and you have a clear metric how to achieve that. And this helps to define like a kind of a business goal and also how you're going to measure it. And then gives you autonomy to how can I say,
To pursue.
detour or make decisions. Exactly. So I really like this because it gives autonomy to the individual contributor and to the team to decide, okay, we need to achieve this, we need to grow, I don't know, active users from X to Y. A top-down manager would say, in order to do this, we need to deliver this feature, exactly this feature. And another way that I like more, it's like a top-down, bottom-up approach. So the metric is a business goal, so this top-down, but how we're going to achieve there, it's bottom-up, so the team decides. And I think this makes you define before how it's going to be measured. And if you're part of this, I think it's a good metric to see if you're going well or not. Yeah.
And so I guess every quarter you sit down with your team or your manager and you figure out, oh, what are the goals for this quarter? How can I help the team? How can I deliver X and Y features? And then when the quarter ends, you have a review maybe or something, and then you can communicate and say, hey, remember the thing, I did it. And so just put a check mark there.
Yes, exactly. I mean, ideally you would check in not only the end of the quarter, it would be more like every 2 weeks or every week. Depends on the company setup. But usually there is a check-in that you tell how things are going. But this is more company related goals, business goals, and how your work is helping the company to achieve that. There is also the other side of the thing. It's related to how can I say, personal development, and then you can use something like SMART goals, measurable goals, and this can also come things like mentorship and helping other people within the company.
Yeah, and something that I think is really interesting, I heard about that from our friend Leonardo, where he said, and also Gemma, right? She's mentioned that maybe your OKRs or your goals for the quarter can also include some kind of personal goals or learning and development goals. Just something interesting. So you say, oh, it's not just delivering that feature, but also I want to get better at database design, for example. And then by working on that feature, I'm going to get a little better. And then my goal of becoming better at database design is aligned with the business goal of delivering that feature that helps the users in some way. So it's kind of an interesting idea to try to align your goals with the OKRs or something like that. So that way you get better, the company gets better, everybody wins.
Yeah, I have some experience with this. I've seen some good cases and bad cases of this kind of approach. So I saw another company that I joined that they did OKRs in the past, and they try to put everything on OKRs. This is a thing that sometimes happens. Okay, everything is OKRs now, and then create like a lot of OKRs, objectives, key results for everything. And then it's too much. And since this is about communication, this is about communicating the goal of the company and aligning. So if you have I don't know, one objective for the company with 2 key results and one personal objective and 2 key results, it's fine. Problem when it becomes like a to-do list, and then it's I think it's, in my humble opinion, anti-pattern, and I saw some cases of it. So less is more, but I mean, it's just a framework, right? So you can use can be this smart that is specific, measurable. I've seen this being used in HP, for example, the time I worked there. So yeah, whatever works, given the context of the company and the people there.
Mm-hmm.
And even for yourself, right? You can't try to learn everything. Even if you want to learn a bunch of stuff, maybe you should focus on one thing at a time. So every quarter you focus on one thing and get a little better,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And this pattern of, okay, everything is going to be measured now. I was watching a conference talk from Linda Rising. I don't know how many people here know her. I just found out about her recently. She's one of the co-author of Fearless Change. I think it's a great resource for people who want to introduce any of these tips that we're seeing here today, because some companies, like especially small companies, you won't have lots of this support, right? So but if you want to see them implemented, there's already a resource to help you with that, because people communication is way more complex than we think. But what I wanted to say is that she was mentioning a key aspect of introducing new things and watching the results is make sure to give yourself time to learn. Like if you are always measuring, always analyzing, but you're not taking this time to step back and see, oh, are we going the right direction? Is this actually serving us or not? So I just reminded what you were saying about this anti-pattern. I was reminded of that. Can be a trap.
Yes, exactly.
But I think this is a perfect segue for the next question, that is, let's say that you have your goals, maybe they are shared with your company or not, but you have your goals as a developer and you want to get this feedback from your manager or from someone from your team that you respect. So what are some good questions that I can ask about my performance to help me check, hey, am I doing the right direction? Or what do you see here that I can change? And I say this from my personal experience. During my one-on-ones, I didn't take advantage of that much. Like I tried as much as possible to not just bring problems to
And
my manager
complain.
and complain. Like that was something that I was always aware, but I didn't know how to take advantage of that, because looking back, that was an opportunity that I missed. So what are some good ways that me as a developer can ask for this instructive feedback that is available for me?
Yes. So ideally, I'm saying ideally because this is the way I think about would be great. The manager, you have a one-on-one with your manager, right? I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
weekly or monthly or bi-weekly, and instead of I like the approach of having constant feedback. So you don't necessarily need to wait that long for a performance review or something like that. You come like a list of things that you did well or need to improve, and then it's a surprise. So there is this management saying that management's doing great communication when things are not a surprise for the people they're managing. So this is a continuous conversation on the team member side, person being managed. I think it's nice to think ahead, uh, this agenda. Let's say during the one-on-one, to think ahead what the topics you want to talk about. If one of them it's feedback. Uh, I mean, I don't think one-on-ones needs to be only about feedback. To be honest, I think there is important thing. It's having a lot of empathy, understanding your manager, and your manager understanding you as a person, because in the end, you are the same person. I have this visual. I don't think it's that different, the personal life from the work life, because you're the same person. You don't turn off like, okay, now I don't know. So this parenthesis we can talk about as well. So I think it's important to create this connection. Um, some people say that you leave companies because if you don't like your manager. I saw some surveys about it, and I think it really impacts.
Yes.
So I think each one-on-one, like current one-on-ones I have with my manager, that is the director of engineering. We usually start talking about life, family, how was the trip there, how was the ski trip, which wine did you drink, and this seems like it's, I don't know, not relevant, but I think it is, because creates this personal connection and trust, empathy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There was some family issues, and then we talked about it. I never expected to do this with my manager, and yeah, it was nice. And of course, if you want to have some feedback, I would recommend you bringing being very vulnerable and open to, because if you're asking for feedback, you can receive constructive, very bad feedback, or it really depends on the manager.
Yeah.
There was a situation that kind of fired. How can I say fired back? No, backfired for me. I asked for feedback after a few weeks in the company, and then it was like completely not what I expected, and the person didn't have enough context at all. So asking for a live feedback can be also bad, because a great feedback is not gonna say, there's this difference between compliment and a feedback. So if you ask for a feedback, no, you're doing good. That this is a compliment to make you happy, but it's not a structured feedback. So to make a structured feedback, the person needs time. So maybe it's better to ask in upfront and then do a live talk about it. Should not be something that was not really prepared and communicated properly, because this can impact a lot
Yeah.
your relationship at work, and if not well communicated with clear examples and how to move forward, and even the good things. Okay, I did well on this, but I don't really know why. Maybe I was lucky. I don't know. Maybe my colleagues like me more than the other team member. It's good to have like okay, let's say I made a presentation for the team, and then overall was great because I exposed some topic that the team didn't know, and people learned it. But let's say my slides were full of text,
Dogs
and
and
people could
cats.
not too many gifs.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can just say like her presentation was nice, but there was too much text. I don't know, but for sure there is a much better way about preparing this and explaining why it was good, and why you have some advices to improve, and the person also needs to be open. So yeah, this feedback it's a complex. There are books about it. There are ways to do it, and yeah, I wrote an article about it, that feedback is a gift, because yeah, I can go on about it if you like, but I think I'm talking a lot.
I would ask you, I would like to know from your perspective, how, because you mentioned, oh, you're building a relationship with your manager, you're talking about your life, and then you ask for some feedback, and you want to know why, what's the reason behind the feedback, so you can understand and do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
But in your perspective, maybe thinking back about one time where you had a one-on-one with someone, like someone that works for you, like a report employee. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
So
report.
you were a
develop,
manager
yeah,
or
you're
someone.
managing them, and it was a good experience. And yeah, like just think back. Say, oh, I had this one-on-one with this person. It was a great experience. We talk about things. It
Yes.
was useful.
Mm-hmm.
This person uh, learned something. They changed something. They got better because of
Yeah.
the conversation somehow. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
maybe you have something in
Okay.
mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a
Let's say
few examples. Okay, so there was this one that will connect to this feedback is a gift. And there's another one as well. So I needed to give feedback to one of my team members, and then I think I was not in a good day, and I gave the feedback and was how can I say, not the best one I gave, to be honest. And I was also in the beginning of my management experience, let's say like that.
Mhm.
And I would expect, usually you expect people to react very defensively when you give, I don't know, negative feedback or
Mhm.
something to improve. And the first reaction of the person was to say thank you, like thank you. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I was so confused, like, why is saying?
Did you hear what I said?
And then no, thank you, because now I know I was not seeing
Mm-hmm.
this, and now I know what I need to improve.
Mhm.
And then I learned this thing that is very strong on ThoughtWorks. Do you know this company called ThoughtWorks?
Mhm.
They
Mm-hmm.
have this within the culture of the company. So when you receive a feedback, they have this that you're getting a present because someone is exposing to you something that you not maybe is not seeing, maybe you're not seeing, or was not so clear that was important. So this was mind blowing, to be honest. This really kind of affected me, and I
Mm-hmm.
really like it. And I wrote about it, and then I brought to the company perspective to start thinking on this way. But also, as a manager, you also need to ask for feedback. You're also like
Mm-hmm.
part of the team. So another example, there was a situation also in this startup Magnetis that I start to have some meetings here and there. And I remember when there was a bug and I was, I don't know, driving or just stopping in the car and the sign was red.
Mhm.
During that, I tried to send a message to people like something, but then I was not fully ready to communicate or something like that. And I thought I was helping, but I was
Mm-hmm.
actually communicating very poorly. And this was not clear for me actually. Like I thought I was really helping everyone. And then I received the feedback from one of the team members, and I really enjoyed. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
very happy that the person brought this up. Uh, yeah.
Mm. So they said, "Oh, you're." They gave you feedback. They said, "Oh, this is not a good way to."
Yeah, if you, they said like either you are online to talk or don't talk, or or call us. I don't know because yeah. So yeah, makes a lot of sense. But I was not seeing it because
Mm-hmm.
it was like in a rush to do other things and only have a limited time to help, and I really cared about it.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, was not really helping in that way. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, these are two cases I can remember. And some people might be afraid to give this kind of feedback to managers. So also that's why I think it's very important to have this vulnerability and connection, so you can trust the person that you can say things that you really think, and not, I don't know, get fired or something.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think that's, well, that's the main thing why we hold back on feedback, giving feedback in general. It's because we don't want to hurt the person. But when you think about it, you are actually hurting the people more, hurting the person way more by not giving the feedback. Of course, I'm not saying to be a jerk or anything like that. But it is important, because I think the main thing that happens as a result of not giving that feedback to your managers is them not knowing what is going on. They think everything is okay when you are in there feeling miserable every day going to work. And I think that's when you see the impact of not giving this feedback, you can see the impact of that. So that's a good point. But it is hard. I had to learn how to receive and give feedback by going to Toastmasters. You can sign up to be an evaluator for someone's speech, and you have to keep centered on giving the feedback on what the person did, on the behavior, not on the person themselves. And the other resource that helped me, and it might help someone in the chat, is the assertiveness workbook. It's a book that I recommend for everyone. So that's my main.
Yeah, there is also the culture where the person's from. This is also because yes, I'm Brazilian and I'm living here in Germany, and also managing some people here, and from different nationalities. And before I was only managing people from Brazil, so I understand the Brazilian culture, I think, much better than other cultures. And I really struggled to give some feedback here in Germany, because sometimes they just want you to just say, be very direct, and that's it. And some other cultures really need indirect feedback. So there's actually a book about it. I think it's called Culture Map, that has this chart of nationalities and what to expect. So I think this, as a manager or as an individual contributor, is also a fact to take into consideration.
Yeah, especially now that everybody's working remotely,
Yeah.
working for companies abroad or moving to other countries. So sometimes it can be hard, right? To adapt to this new culture. I think for me, when I came to Canada, people are very friendly in Canada, but then I also work with people in the US, and they're very direct, which is, I like it. I really like it. Like, it's just very direct. So this is doing wrong. This should make you this better. Blah blah blah. No sorry, no thank you, no nothing. And I like it. I think it's better, but that's how I am.
Yeah.
But some people, I'm sure they wouldn't like it at all. So yeah.
To me, I gotta see an emoji. I'm the one who sends emoji, because sometimes I can't read the person's emotions just from the text. I'm like, is the person angry or not? Like, I struggle with that. But
I hate your code.
Yeah.
Happy face.
Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, it's different approaches. So I struggled with that. And when I thought I learned, I went to. So there is one extreme. There is Germany, I think Israel, Netherlands. That is very direct. And the other one, it's Japan. That if you give a direct feedback, people get like depression. It's really not a thing. So uh, and there was one feedback that I need to give. I gave a direct one. It was fine because it's direct. And then I went to the other person, but the country was not the direct feedback and backfired completely. So yeah, this was something I learned working abroad that was very interesting.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
have a question from
Anchieta.
Anchieta Jr. Hello there, Fabiano. Are you still interviewing developers? And I would like to thank him for his feedback from an interview we had a couple years ago. Oh, that's nice.
Still
So I guess you
remember.
interviewed him
Yeah.
in the past.
Yes, should the interviewing developers. Yes, I'm hiring actually always. Yeah, I'm hiring DevOps currently. This is the position.
Okay, so
You have to live in Germany or
No, can be from anywhere in the world. If you want to move to Germany, the company sponsors. So
nice. That's
nice.
cool.
Nice.
So if you want to have direct feedback,
Yeah.
Germany, you learn more about it.
Yeah. So Fabian, I have a couple of questions. One of them is based on something that relates to expanding the impact of your work, and maybe you could touch a little bit more on that. Like when you are a mid-level developer, you're usually in the work that you do impacts the project, and then as you get more experience and you develop more of the other senior skills, the impact of your work expands. And my question to you is, how do I talk about this impact of my work, like with my manager, in a way that is not like, oh, we started using this library that made the code 100 times faster or something like that? Because you don't want to talk about these specific technicalities. You want to talk about the impact of your work. So could you give us some example of how to do that, or good examples
yes,
that you have seen?
yes. I mean, really depends on the manager. That's why I think it's important to understand your manager because if it's more like how can I say? I'll give you the current context I have now. So my manager doesn't. He understands technical things, but he doesn't have the context of things I'm doing. I mean, he understands overall, but he doesn't understand the details.
Yeah.
So if I start talking about the details, he'll say like, "Yeah, just decide and that's it." He doesn't have the context, so it's important. And I think this is probably a common mistake, like talking about technologies. So I would say it's crucial to try to start having bigger and bigger picture of your impact on your project, on your story, or on your team, or in the company.
Yeah.
So if you can move a metric of the company higher, this is like really this is something you talk to your manager and it's like no brainer really.
Like
So
making more money or getting more
yeah,
users,
saving more money.
saving more money, things like that.
yeah, exactly. But also there is this helping the team to go forward, and this is harder to measure. And I think then it relies also on your team members. So let's say your manager doesn't have the context technically at all of things you're doing. How can the manager evaluate you? He will talk to your team members.
Yeah.
So you need to think about that. Are your team members happy with your things you're doing? Or they are always struggling or having conflicts about things that could be more easygoing? I don't know. You're talking about spaces and tabs, or I don't know, something that doesn't. I mean, it's something that you decide and then you go on. You don't need to be talking. I'm giving this example, but I see some discussions currently also that I don't think are really important. It could be just one decision and move on. So yeah, your team members also will be important for your um, how you're performing, right? It's not only
Mm-hmm.
Your
your
manager.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think this can be a I don't know a hack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great point because you usually don't need to impress your manager. You should impress your team, right? Because they have more context into what you're doing. Unless your manager is very technical. So we have a friend who he's a manager and he reviews pull requests and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows, oh, you're doing a great job, you're adding tests and all of that. But usually our manager doesn't know. Like he can know.
Yeah.
He's not looking at your PRs and things like that. And so it's easier for him or her if you're doing a great job, your teammates are happy, and they talk about you, right? They say, oh, to your manager, oh, this person is really doing a
Mm-hmm.
good job. He's helping us, or her,
Mm-hmm.
she's helping us.
Yeah.
But I had another thing to ask you, but maybe I forgot the question.
You
Sorry.
forgot. Yeah,
Got
but I think that
into the weeds.
even that's a good point. But even if you get, I remember you even used the term thermometer, like your teammates are the thermometer for your performance, but you still want to yourself be your champion, right? So let's say that I did something that was really impactful, but it was a very technical change, um, and let's just assume that my manager doesn't have all the technical context because they are handling other stuff,
So
hiring
many,
people,
yeah.
so many stuff. So how
Yeah,
do I translate that to something that they will understand and
Yeah,
um,
maybe give an example of,
yeah, maybe give
yeah,
an
if you have
example.
it. Like this,
Fabian.
that,
yeah, yeah. I mean, even if it's very technical, you could explain in a non-technical way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you made something that had impact, technical impact, but good impact in the team, or
Mm-hmm.
uh, let's say, okay, I have one example actually from long time ago. Uh, we invited a person to make an internal talk at Magnetis, and then this person brought an interesting pattern for us,
Mm-hmm.
and then we started using it and removed a lot of coupling from our system, so it was easier to move forward architecturally speaking. And yeah, if you need to change something, you change. You don't impact the whole system. I
can
mean,
ship
I'm
faster.
yeah. I mean, you deliver value faster.
Hmm.
That's the thing
Mm-hmm.
in the end. But you can explain. I'm pretty sure there is a way to explain a technical thing in a non-technical way,
Mm-hmm.
to so the person at least gets the context and what was the benefit from it. And
Yeah.
usually, when you open a pull request, you describe it. Should be this, right? Should be
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
was like this before. Now it's like this, because the code you can read it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
tell like why you're doing it, and this why is the thing that you can bring as a way to promote things you're doing in a
Mm-hmm.
better communication way.
yeah. So you can practice on your pull
Pull
request
requests.
description, right? To say
That's a
why,
good
yeah,
tip. Yeah.
why I'm doing this, why this is useful,
Yeah.
and not
Maybe,
just just like
yeah.
fixes X.
Yeah. Maybe get your most impactful PRs and add to your brag document. Because I really want to touch on this. We have lots of friends that are developers and they are really good. They help others, they mentor each other. And when I ask, oh, great, how often do you share that with your team or with the company in general? They're like, I don't. And
Yeah,
people always, so there's always this avoidance in sharing your work because I know we don't want to sound too salesy, even though we are always selling ourselves. Um, but I really want to touch point on that. It's important for you to be the champion for your work and that's where the feedback comes in. Like, are you actually aligned with your goals? Because sometimes we are doing things every day. We think we are doing them as we planned, but the way that people are perceiving us is different than what we think. So if you keep
Yeah.
sharing and you keep asking for feedback, that's really that's gonna make it faster for you, and you don't get stuck.
Yeah, and also you have to, because it's that thing where people just do good work and they expect people to notice, but
Yeah,
sometimes no one notices. So you have
Yeah.
to,
yeah,
brag about it a little bit. You have to
yeah.
keep track of those things.
Yeah, I mean, also, if there is something that you can prioritize for yourself, like a tech debit,
Mm-hmm.
I would prioritize based on impact across the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there was, okay, this is not to show off or something, but I arrived in the company. I think this can be a good example for people. Like, it's not that hard actually. I arrived in the company, the CI/CD was like taking 30 minutes, and then I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Oh, something might be wrong here." And then they said, "How much do you expect?" I don't know, much less. And then and then they said, "Can you do it better?" I don't know. I'll take a look. And then I took a look. I made like a cache, Docker image cache,
Mhm.
and
Mm-hmm.
reduced by half already.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know. And then I posted on the channel. There was like a release or improvements channel. And I posted my second week, half of the builds running and
Mm-hmm.
affecting everyone to do things faster. So might
Yeah.
have something like this in your
Mm-hmm.
companies that you can use your knowledge to improve everything. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's not something that is even listed or the team's caring about. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
you can search for these opportunities.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a great example because that's one of the things that we always share in our posts, in
and
also
we
in
teach that as
Get to
well. Yeah.
Senior. It's actually an entire exercise on that. Is how do you get out of the scope of your tasks to identifying these opportunities? Because they are there.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, usually people don't care, they don't have the time, or they're not willing to try it
Fix
out.
it. Yeah.
These are all great opportunities for you to stand out. And also, for example, let's say you don't, oh, I've never worked with Docker. That's a great opportunity for you to explore.
Yeah. And even the thing that Fabian was talking about, communication and also like, oh, we are fighting over tabs versus spaces, whatever. This is an opportunity because if people are
Mm-hmm.
struggling, if they're fighting, maybe there's a convention
Yeah.
missing. Maybe no one ever sat down to talk about the conventions of the team.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do? What are we going to use? Are we using Rubocop? Are we using, how are we writing things?
Yeah.
And so you can sit down, can talk about it, you can come up with maybe a list or a document
Yeah.
saying, oh, this is how we're going to do things here. And then you don't need to fight anymore because you just
Yeah.
say, oh, you just point to the doc and say, hey, you should follow this, maybe take a look. So
Mm-hmm.
problem solved, right?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I mean, for this, how can I say, taste decisions, because some people prefer one thing, others prefer another thing.
Mm-hmm.
It, if there is a convention and it's sufficient, I think that's the way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if you get into a new company and try to change it to be everything you like, if you're gonna have a hard time, gonna probably
Yeah.
burn out. And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make sense because there are other things like this other example I gave. Like you can find better opportunities to
Yeah.
improve the organization.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So I think the last question that I have, Fabian, and then let us know if you have any questions in the chat, if something that we talked here resonated or something that you want to ask. We are almost in the end, so make sure to ask your questions. Um, let's say I know this person that is highly, highly talented, loves optimizing things, sharing what they do, mentor others, talk at meetups. They are great at what they do, but they don't feel confident to raise their hands at the meetings. Sometimes
give their opinions.
give their opinions, and they have the expertise. And I wonder if you have seen good examples to share of how you get started with building that confidence. Maybe you can just, I don't know, share, oh, I saw this somewhere, maybe we could do this way. Like how
can you support a developer who lacks confidence even though they have
lots of experience? Yeah.
It's funny because you say this, I think about myself actually. Because
I was talking about you actually.
Yes, because there is there are situations that I think I would like to bring something, but then I don't bring it. Maybe it doesn't look like it, but I'm a very shy, introspective person. And I think the company setting up a context, because why people don't talk, because they are afraid to be judged. They are afraid of someone giving a bad answer. So I think it's important to create this setup that you can feel comfortable, safe environment to bring your ideas and be respected about it. It's not every company that provides this. And if you bring something and you don't feel like you are well received, I'm pretty sure the problem is not with you, it's with the context. So, I mean, sometimes we give too much, we hear too much what other people might think and get afraid of bringing it up. It's hard. It's not easy, but
But it's cool that you say that, because we are big fans of you. So you've been a CTO, you were a co-founder, you're doing all of those cool things, but you still have some problems with confidence. And so it's kind of a natural thing, even though you're doing amazing work, I guess the more you do, the more you feel like an imposter, right?
Yeah, this imposter syndrome. I know. I can tell that I was much more confident when I was less experienced, to be honest. I thought like, okay, I know this, I know that, let's just keep going. Now I probably know more because I learned, but I know that I don't know more. You know what I mean? It's like
there's lots to learn still.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's something that if it is too important for you, because if you feel like, oh, I want to do that but I can't, it's something that is worth asking for help. Maybe there is someone outside of your company that can help you with that, or someone from the company that is always talking. Like maybe ask, how do you do that? I want to.
How are you so confident?
And I think that's a good point about caring too much about what others are gonna say. I think we lose a lot of opportunities because of that, but then most of what we fear don't happen. But I think it's sad to see it that happening, and for sure it happens with me as well. I think it's a daily exercise.
Yeah,
it's a daily exercise.
Yes.
All right, so we are past the hour here. I don't know, Fabiano, if you have anything else like that you would like to share based on our talk here. Maybe something else that you see people doing a lot when trying to climb up the engineering ladder, and you would like to give your thoughts. Is there something that you would like to share before we go?
Yeah, maybe. What I saw, what I would recommend is to go more into understand more the principles. unless the current frameworks, the current hype of frameworks, let's say like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure the frameworks will change. There will be other languages, and yeah, I saw this a couple of times. Like people, I only work with this, I only work with that. Of
Mm,
course, we have our preferences, and also each framework and community brings like a mindset.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, be advised to be more open about yeah, different, learn from different perspectives, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So focus on the fundamentals and also the fundamentals of other things, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
business fundamentals,
Mm-hmm.
management fundamentals. Like it's not just tech, right? There are
Yeah.
other things involved.
Yeah.
Yes, very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if people want to follow you or see what you're doing, Fabiano, how can they reach you? Or if
Yes.
they
So
wanna
there's
ask you a question.
yeah. So there is the Twitter that is, I think it's now on the screen,
Hmm.
and I also have some things on Spotify. A new album, by the way. This is
Oh,
the
nice.
album
What?
cover.
Oh, that's cool. Amazing.
So
What's the
uh,
name?
it's called Fuzzy Times
Fuzzy
here.
Times.
Fuzzy
Yeah.
Oh,
time.
nice.
You just say that now?
I'm gonna listen to your songs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I think
Awesome.
that's it.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, so thank you so much, Fabiano, for talking with us today and sharing all of your experience. I know we know this is a topic that you care about and lots of people ask you about these things. So thank you so much. And also thank you for everyone who is here with us today. We hope that you took some good insights, some takeaways. If you would like to share in the chat what were your takeaways,
Mhm.
that would be really great. And
Yeah, and if you wanna hear more about the stuff we're doing, if you wanna get invitation to events or exercises, guides, and things like that, you sign up for Hex Devs, the newsletter.
yeah,
And we are always doing these types of events, live streams. We have guides. We have a nice newsletter. We're always tweeting as well. So make sure you follow us. And thank
yeah,
you so much for showing up. And yeah, thank you, Fabiano, for your sharing your expertise. It's always nice to talk to you.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
All right. Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone. I have to choose
Good
this
night.
Happy
one.
weekend.
Bye bye.